I'll dedicate that practice yet again to the 5 qualities or the 5 powers that we've talked about before. These qualities that we bring to bear on our journey through the yoga, or into the yoga, I should say, that really facilitate opening our heart, awakening our heart, opening our mind, and finding our way into a sense of deep connection to the greater web of life. And so, of course, those are the 5 powers of faith and wisdom, of power and integration or calm, and of mindfulness. And so we will bring these powers to bear throughout our practice today. We will tune into them a bit during the opening centering, and then I'll invite you to come back to them throughout the practice and perhaps throughout your life. When our life is informed by faith, tempered by wisdom, by power, tempered by calm, and sort of with an ongoing mindfulness and presence to what is, we're more likely to move through the world with the Brahma Viharas, with compassion, with equanimity, with joy, with loving kindness. And so to me, even though we've covered the powers before, it felt like an auspicious way to start this practice as well, to really remind us what being adaptive can be all about, what being resilient can be all about, and what offering a therapeutic practice can be all about. So that's our basic premise for the practice today, is just this sort of very global invitation for you to be present with faith, with wisdom, with engagement, with calm presence, and with mindfulness. So hopefully by now you have settled yourself into whichever shape you would like to be in for the opening centering. And as you settle yourself into your body, wherever you are, I also invite you to make a very discerning choice about how you would like to place your eyes, whether you would like to close them, keep them perhaps at half-mast, perhaps have a gentle gaze point somewhere. Let yourself make that discerning choice based on what is happening in your environment right now and what serves you in this moment, not based on habit power, but really based on the wisdom of this moment as you settle yourself into your body right here, right now. And then perhaps also make a discerning choice about how you would like to place your hands, perhaps pondering what a particular hand placement might signal to your nervous system, and then making a choice that seems right for you in this moment. Perhaps palms up to invite inspiration or to signal openness, to be inspired. Perhaps palms down if you feel more of a need for grounding, for arriving in this moment, in your space. Perhaps palms at the heart if you would like to invite introspection, a drawing inward. And of course, there are many other choices, so give yourself time, space, presence to make this decision, knowing that you can always change your mind about everything over the course of the practice, and that you're always welcome to shift positions, to undo, unlearn, redo, relearn, just as long as you bring that beautiful yogic power of mindfulness to your changes, your transitions. With all these decisions made, I invite you to arrive in this moment, in this space, in your body. Perhaps you tune into your body with a gentle compassion and curiosity, and a deep faith that your wisdom will guide you into a relationship with your body during this practice that is kind and compassionate, that can be energetic yet calming, that can invite you into a deeper awareness of that physical layer of your being. And so can you settle yourself into your physical experience, allowing yourself to meet yourself just as you are. Without judgment, without expectation, and perhaps with a deep appreciation for your body and its capacity to be in this moment with you. Perhaps with a deep remembrance of how your body has been with you and has served you throughout your lifetime. If you would like, you could then expand your point of focus beyond the body to include your breath, your energy, your vitality in this moment as well. Perhaps you notice that body and breath are really inseparable. They wisely collaborate in each and every moment of your lifetime. They share energy. They share the wisdom collected from a lifetime of collaborating, interdepending, arising and falling away in the many ways that they do. And so how is your vitality showing up for you in this moment, in this space? In relationship with the body and beyond the body. If it feels somewhat intangible, you could pay attention to how your breath is moving through your body, recognizing the unfolding of your breath cycle as movement, movement in the abdomen, movement perhaps in the low rib basket, the sensation of air moving in and out. And can this observation of how the breath is interacting with the body simply to flow in and out of you become a proxy for your vitality, the energy that is with you this morning? This energy too is due to all of the causes and conditions of a lifetime of breathing, a lifetime of householding energy, a lifetime of building vitality. And so can you meet this beautiful collaboration between body and breath with faith that this collaboration serves you, with the wisdom that it's always there for you, guiding you, supporting you, recognizing the energy in this collaboration, the capacity of that energy to wax and wane, to increase when it needs to increase, and to calm when it needs to calm. And if you would like, you could now expand your awareness further to begin to notice how your mind is joining this relationship between breath and body, How are your thoughts and your emotions anchored in your body, in your breath? How are body and breath expressing themselves in the stories you might be bringing with you this morning, in the way you're feeling right now, or in the mind state that is predominating for you? Body, breath, and mind, they too are all interdependent, always coexisting, wisely collaborating to manage energy. Can you bring faith to this relationship between body, breath, and mind? The faith of wisdom that the body can help the mind to calm, that the mind can have an effect on the body, that the breath can be the bridge between the two, and that in the end they are not separable from one another. And then can you expand your awareness to become keenly attuned to the presence of your deeper intelligence, your intuitive knowing of all that we've talked about and experienced, the deeper knowing of the coming and going in your body, in your breath, in your mind, this impermanence that really penetrates every experience, that deeper knowing of the interdependence of body, breath, and mind in the collective in which they have developed, matured, grown, changed. This deeper knowing that always situates you profoundly in your biopsychosociocultural context, the causes and conditions that have shaped you across a lifetime. That deeper knowing within you that fully recognizes that there is no independence, but that there is only interdependence. We all rely on one another. We are all grounded in the same greater web of life. Every decision we make, every intention we set, every thought we think, every action we take reverberates not just through our own inner, tangible body, breath, mind layers, but they reverberate into our communities, our families. We are literally that butterfly that when it flaps its wings in one part of the earth can create a storm in another. And so as you tune yourself into your deeper wisdom, can you recognize the responsibility that arises here? Can you recognize the joy that is inherent in this deep connection? The joy of being part of a greater whole, the joy of receiving from that greater whole what you need in a given moment, and the responsibility of your own existential imperative to give back to that greater whole, to give back to that web of life in a way that nurtures, supports, honors, respects everyone, everything. And perhaps from this place of having attuned with faith, with wisdom, with energy, with integration, with deep mindfulness to all of your layers of being, and especially your wise and joyful self. I invite you to place your hands at your heart if that serves you, or to find some other way of expressing a shift as you perhaps bow your head to your heart, adapting that movement to the position that you're in, so that you can receive from that deeper, wiser layer of your experience an intention for your time on the mat today. Given that you're inviting that intention to come from your Vijnanamaya kosha, it may be that it has no words. It could be transverbal. It might be a felt sense or a symbol, but it could also be a simple word or a phrase. Can you allow yourself to receive that intention with an awakened heart and an open mind? If you would like, you could use your next inhalation to intentionally draw that intention into your heart and to allow it to reverberate from there into your body, your vitality, your mind, your stories, your emotions, your relationships. And then if you would like, you could patiently wait for your next exhalation to also send that intention silently outward into your greater web of life. And then whenever you feel ready to do so, you can lower your hands if they were lifted. You can open your eyes if they were closed. You can lift your gaze if it was lowered, and you could rise to a seat if you are lying down on the earth. And welcome, everyone. So from here, as you arrive in this moment, yet again, I invite you to find hero's pose, if that is an accessible shape for you, or it could be diamond, or you could sit on a chair, but something that allows the thighs to be next to each other, as opposed to sitting in a cross-legged position. If you do come into hero or diamond, give yourself the joy of props if you have them. So you might have a block under the sits bones, for example, and then allow the legs to drape to the side. Or if you're preferring to be in a diamond, maybe having a blanket in the back of the knee, and then perhaps another blanket or a block on top to sit in a very lovely upright sort of seat. And so experiment, give yourself the joy of time to really experiment how you can support a natural curve in your spine. All of you are very aware now what that means from our time together. And you might see that if you give yourself the joy of props, or you might feel rather, then the stacking of your bones is so natural that it becomes almost effortless. So the effort goes into preparing the sitting position so that then you can let go of the effort once you're in the seat. And the seat can be easeful, the seat can feel integrated. So whatever you chose for yourself, also know that you can continue to make changes and adaptations as the need emerges. So always really paying attention to what serves you in a given moment. And each moment is new, so let yourself remember that as well. So from however you've arranged your body, I now invite you to interlace your fingers and then to rest the hands gently in your lap, so on your thighs somewhere. And if they don't reach your lap, that's okay for the moment. And we'll just begin to take a few of the movements of the spine. And so from here, I invite you, when you feel ready to start, to turn the palms down so that they now face your legs, but they're floating above the legs. And then wait for your inhalation to let the arms travel up without shrugging the shoulders toward the ears, but maintaining ease in the shoulders. At the top of the inhalation, let the fingers separate, and then with the exhalation, let the arms circle around your world and re-interlace the fingers, this time with the other pinky on the outside. So in an interlace that will feel a bit odd to your body. And then this is a movement that we will repeat several times, but with your own 4-part breath. So we will not be synchronized. The inhalation turns the palms down and brings the arms up. There's a pause here that you determine how long it is for you. The exhalation separates the fingers, lets the arms travel around the world, and then the pause at the bottom brings the interlace back in place, palms facing up. However long that pause is for you. And then the cycle starts all over again. If you feel secure in your body and your environment, to take this movement with your eyes closed, consider that as a possibility. And let the movement be completely informed by your 4-part breath. So that there doesn't have to be any decision making about how quickly or slowly you want to move your arms. Your breath is your guide for this. As you move through this a few times, you might notice that over time, the rate of your breath, and therefore the rate of your movement in the body, but also the movements in your mind might change. We'll take about 3 to 5 more rounds with me being silent until I have finished 3 rounds, and then wherever you are, you will be able to stop at the end of your cycle. But my voice will bring you back. Patiently allow yourself to finish the cycle you're on and come to rest with your hands in your lap at the end of an exhalation. You could stay here and simply observe the reverberations of this movement in all of your layers. Or if you'd like to move a little bit more, you could inhale and reach the arms out to the side, allowing yourself a little bit of spinal extension. And then exhale to give yourself a nice big hug, allowing the spine to move into a bit of flexion. Taking about 5 rounds, yet again a 4-part breath, guiding the movement, really leaning into the back bend and leaning into the forward bowing, completely unrushed, with faith that the breath will guide you, with a calm energy. Flowing for about 3 to 4 rounds more. The end of your next cycle, so at the end of your next exhalation, take that final bow and make a decision whether you would like to stay in this bow forward for a moment to honor your layers from here, or if you'd rather sit with a natural spine to honor your layers, the hair. Whatever you choose, take a moment. Tune in and feel a subtle energy coursing through your body. Virya, or persistence, is not always a fight. Virya, this energy that is one of the 5 powers, can be deeply informed by the calm of samadhi. And so can you be present here with the subtler energies that are moving through you? Can you have the faith that even in a moment of quietude, there is still vitality, and that there might be a wisdom in stillness, in this countering of our hustle and bustle of our daily life? You can stay here with your energies, observing, being present, or if you'd like to move, you can inhale, lift the arms up, interlace the fingers, and make a little steeple with your hands, with your index fingers. And have your arms up above you. We're going to move into a bit of lateral flexion, and as you move into lateral flexion, and just stay upright for a moment before you begin to move, really ponder how you can move here with wisdom. And the wisdom I invite you to perhaps bring into the body is when you move to the side with the exhalation, is to keep the heart open. And so not letting the shoulder away from the flexion collapse forward, but allow it to draw back as you exhale, and then rest here in the bottom of your breath for a moment. Waiting for the inhalation to rise, resting at the top. Perhaps feeling energy through the fingertips, pointing toward the sky. Waiting for the exhalation to move to the other side, keeping the heart open. Resting at the bottom of the breath. Inhaling to rise, and just a couple more times on each side. Letting yourself sense into the opening in the side bodies and its reverberations into your breath. It will definitely have an effect on the level of smoothness, texture, volume, comfort of your breath. And this might have reverberations into your mind. And so the effect of this lateral flexion may be very different from the flexion forward into our forward bow at the beginning. Can you let yourself tune into those subtle energies with faith that they serve you and the wisdom of recognizing them? When you have completed your 3 times to each side, stay upright for a moment. If you need to release the arms down, you're welcome to do that. If you would like to experiment with the extra energy of holding the arms up, then be there with that demand in body, breath, and mind. Really inviting yourself to be so mindful, to bring such smriti into the practice today. Here, that might just be really being mindful of the weight of your arms, the demand of holding the arms up and overhead. We're going to add on a little bit to this movement. This time, as you exhale, you'll again bow to the side, but this time you're going to bend the right elbow if that's the side you're starting on. And then imagine that you're drawing a circle with the tips of your index fingers all the way around to the other side, arriving at the top of the breath, maybe pausing here, and then making another circle with the exhalation, defining most of the circle, and the inhalation happening toward the end of the circle, and then a hold at the top for a total of 3 times to the right if that's where you started, or the left if that's where you started. At the end of the 3rd time, you can hold your arms again, or you can release them. It's up to you. Do you want more persistence, more virya, or do you want a little bit more ease? And then, of course, we have the other side. So whenever you're ready to start to the other side, you can, working with the same deliberateness of exhaling, to point to that side. Now the other elbow will need to bend as you circle around. Long exhale, shorter inhale to arrive at the top, to hold there. 3 circles in all. At the end of your 3rd circle, you could hold the arms up for a moment, but then ultimately allow the hands to relax through the central channel to your lap. And tune in. Become present. Sensing yet again with great mindfulness into your body, your vitality, your mind state, your stories, your kleshas, if they flavor those stories of, oh my goodness, is there clinging and grasping or aversion or ego? What might be present here? What is getting stirred up for you? And then for our rotations, if you're ready for them, you can always stay where you are. You're going to inhale the arms up yet again. This time, as you rotate, let's say we'll start to the left, all of us, the arms will both move. The right hand will land on the shoulder. The left hand will wrap around the back of the body, the back of the hand touching the back of the body somewhere. With your next inhalation, both arms circle up, and then the opposite happens. The left hand lands on the right shoulder, the right back of the hand lands perhaps on your back body, on your sacrum, perhaps at the side of your pelvis. Same breathing 4 parts, honoring the pauses with a break in the movement, giving the mind a chance to catch up with the body and the breath. Taking each rotation with the faith that it will serve you and the wisdom to bring a range of motion that is healing. Enough energy to feel the effects of the movement. Finish the round that you're on and then take one more full round, ultimately ending on a rotation to the right if you started with me on the left. And at the end of that rotation, of course, inhaling and coming to center. Perhaps the hands land at the heart, perhaps they land at the belly button, perhaps they land on the legs. As you take a moment to bring to bear Smriti, which observes all, rebalances everything. Bringing to bear your wisdom, your faith, your energy. Fully present with the pulsation of life that is moving through you. You can, of course, stay here and continue to ponder, or you can join me in standing up now. You could use your chair or your 2 blocks for what's to come next, so you might want to have them ready. To move my screen just a bit. I'll show the first round with the chair, the second round with the blocks, but you know sun salutes well enough to see where we're headed and what we're doing, and so you can choose whether you will work with blocks or whether you will work with a chair. Just really would like to demo this with the chair first to give you sort of that permission to be kind and to maybe experience a sun salute in a slightly different way. So, but you're totally welcome to adapt this to your own sun salute practice. So with your next inhalation, your arms will travel up. With your exhalation, the hands will travel forward onto the chair. Maybe you use your fingers to reach into the hip creases so that you come forward with your back in a natural curve of the spine. Take a moment to rest, and with your next exhalation, bow forward. Bow forward with reverence, with respect. Respect for yourself, respect for your community, respect for your higher wisdom. If you're on the earth, the fingers could be on the earth. If you're at the chair, rise back up a tiny bit, step the left foot closer to the chair, the right foot back to come into a lunge. On the earth, your hands can be on the floor or on a couple of blocks. As you just feel yourself here in the lunge, drawing the forward hip back, the back hip forward, staying very deliberate here in the same way that we've been practicing. And in a moment, we'll step the left foot back to meet the right. If you're on the chair, the hands stay on the chair. If you're on the ground, the hands could stay on blocks, or the hands could be both on the earth. If you are with both hands on the earth, give yourself the joy, the wisdom, to bend your knees initially if that serves you. stay in your down dog for a moment, really appreciating the individuality of each shape. These individual shapes make a greater whole. It doesn't mean that they don't have their own value. They're each important. They each contribute to that greater web that is a sun salute. And so give them each the attention that they deserve. As you ready yourself to step the right foot forward to come into your lunge on the other side. Once again, drawing the forward hip back, back hip forward. Giving your full attention to this lunge now. And then when you feel ready, you can step the back foot forward, return into your forward fold. Maybe this forward fold is different than the first one. If you were at the chair, maybe this time the hands migrate a bit. Let yourself be in this position, fully present with how it reverberates into the greater web of the sun salute, honoring its individuality and its collective role in the greater web. And then with an inhalation, rise all the way up. Hands perhaps meet above the head and then draw to the heart and ultimately to your side. You can choose to continue to work with a chair, or maybe your second round will use blocks. Yogi's choice. Whenever you are ready, with your inhalation, the arms lift. With the exhalation, they lower, perhaps to the blocks. With the inhalation, step the right foot to the inside of the right block, the left foot back, and come into your lunge. You can use the blocks in a way that feels safe to you. So if they're a little too wobbly on the top setting, you could come to the middle setting. As you step the forward foot back to find your way into a downward dog. Let yourself arrive here fully honoring this particular embodiment of one small part in that greater web of a sun salute. Arriving here with the faith that you know how to embrace this shape with wisdom, with the energy to hold yourself in this shape for a few rounds of breath, and with enough integration, with enough concentration and collecting yourself into this moment with enough samadhi, so that this becomes almost a meditation. And then at the end of an exhale, on an empty breath, step the left foot forward to come into your lunge. When it feels right for you, step the right foot to meet the left. Bow forward with reverence, with presence. And then when it feels appropriate for you, rise up with an inhalation. Perhaps the palms touch at the top. And then release through your central channel to your sides. For one more round now, your choice, chair, blocks, or no props. By now you know the sequence. I will not cue it. We will all do it in our individual way, and we'll find our way back to mountain at the end, where we will meet again as a collective. whenever you have arrived at the end of your sun salute, I invite you to find a seated position for just a brief breathing practice. Hero's pose might be nice again if that serves you, but if you have other preferences, that will be fine as well. For breath work, it's very lovely to have a natural spine, to be able to sense a little bit of engagement of the low rib basket inward on the exhalation, and a little bit of engagement of the low rib basket, the side waist, this sort of whole midriff region with the inhalation. You don't have to create that or unnaturally exaggerate it. And at the same time, it might be nice to notice if you're giving this midsection of your body permission to move. And this is not just in the front, in the belly, this is in 360 degrees. So just let yourself notice if this is what happens. Another beautiful, auspicious alignment for deliberate breath work is to slightly tuck the chin down and then draw the head back to align the head as much in line with the spine as is possible for your anatomy. This creates an easier flow of air through the throat. And then just tune in one more time, because sometimes after this adjustment of the neck, things happen in the lumbar spine. If you are feeling the natural curve here, it's easy to become a little bit either hyper or hypolordotic in this low back. And so just notice what will serve you to bring a sense of natural stacking of the bones here. And the breath we will use is a version of Nadi Shodhana. And I invite you, if it serves you and if it's workable for you, to bring the index finger and middle finger of your dominant hand to your third eye region. So to that spot between and just above the bridge between your two eyes. And then your ring finger, if you're like me, you don't necessarily want glasses, so if you need to remove them, remove them. Your thumb is on one side of your nostrils and your ring finger's on the other side, so depending on whether you're right or left dominant, that could be different. And take a couple rounds of breath here just with this mudra, where you're not closing your nostrils at all, but just give your nervous system a moment to get used to the arm being directly in front of you, to get used to the hand being directly in front of your face. It's easy to jump right into the breath, but the breath may be dysregulated just because the nervous system is still trying to catch up to this weird sort of thing that's happening in front of your eyes and your face. And so give yourself time to find yourself here. And then whenever you are ready to start engaging with the breath, use the finger at the right nostril to close the right nostril and breathe in and out 5 times through the left at your own rhythm. After the 5 times, you can simply come back to a natural rhythm without closed nostrils. So you'll have to do your own counting. If your left nostril is very clogged and you feel yourself dysregulating, you can always loosen the closure of the right side a tiny bit. Or you can even do the whole thing just in your imagination, where both nostrils are open, but you're imagining that the air flows only through the left side. Once your 5 rounds on the left are complete, gently reopen the right and now use your other finger to close the left and breathe 5 times through the right. Same thing if you need to open the left a tiny bit, or if you just need to imagine breathing only through the right. Those are very effective adaptations. When you have your 5 times complete on the right, you have a choice. You can keep your fingers in place if that serves you and breathe 10 times through both nostrils, or you can repeat 5 times through the left and then 5 times through the right. If you feel incredibly agitated at this point, you could just breathe through the left. If you feel kind of collapsed and withdrawn, you could breathe just through the right. Figure out what serves you. If you're uncertain, then 5 times through the left, 5 times through the right. Don't forget to switch sides. If you're losing track of counting, it's probably time to switch if you haven't already. If you have already finished your 10 rounds, you can either do another cycle, or you can switch to alternating, or you can release your hand to your lap and simply return to a natural breath. If you have returned to your natural breath, allow yourself to let go of any focus on your breathing. Allow yourself simply to be present. In this moment, in this space, fully aware, fully collected into this moment in all of your layers. in all of your ways of being in the world. Perhaps you choose one of the 5 powers as a focus of your attention and let yourself meditate on that power, whether it be Shraddha, faith, conviction, or Prajna, wisdom, or Virya, persistence, or Samadhi, integration, collectedness. And let yourself meditate on your chosen power, on your chosen quality for about 1.5 minutes in silence until my voice brings you back. And then I invite you to move from this meditative stance into your Shavasana, into the Pratyahara of nothing. You can choose the position you would like to take. You could stay seated or you could lie down. Settling yourself in such a way that you can allow the body to surrender its weight to the earth, releasing, letting go of your physical being. And then surrender your breath to the flow of prana that moves through all of us. Releasing and letting go of your breath. Then surrendering your mind, your thoughts, your stories, your emotions to your deeper inner wisdom that will come back to what needs coming back to as you release and let go of your mind. Nothing left to be with, nothing left to ponder. As you move into the sense of integration, into the nothingness that is Shavasana for about 2 minutes until my voice brings you back. Very gently invite your senses to re-engage with your outer or inner world. Tuning into whatever inputs have salience for you in this moment. And then perhaps turning your attention into your body to notice if there's a need for little stretches or wiggles, or for continued quietude. And then perhaps reattuning to your breathing. Being very aware of the inhalation as breath travels in. And very aware of the exhalation as breath travels out. And then reattuning yourself to your mind. Perhaps your mind state. Noticing perhaps if there is more collectedness, less distraction, or whatever might be present for you. If you are lying on the earth, allow your mind to plot a pathway to a seat for you. And then go ahead and find your way to an upright seat. Once you are in a seat, if it feels appropriate, you might choose to place your hands at your heart as you bow your head to your heart. Perhaps one more time, attuning to your faith, your strength, your energy, your wisdom, your integration and presence, your mindfulness, your remembrance. This beautiful cycle of hope and motivation, this beautiful journey that we take toward higher, deeper inner knowledge and wisdom, toward joy, responsibility, and a great caring for the greater web of life. I invite you to notice if there is a dedication of merit that emerges from you, perhaps from a takeaway, perhaps from your intention. Just notice what might emerge for you that seems meaningful in this moment. And if there is a dedication, you might choose to use your in-breath to draw it into your own heart, and your out-breath to silently send it outward into the greater web of life. And thank you so much for being present, for sharing your wisdom, for moving into your faith, bringing to bear your energy, and for staying collected in the present moment.